is up, you guys? Film fan 0599 here again. And welcome to the very first episode of Ranked. Now, what Ranked is going to be basically is that I take either a film series, a TV show series, or a video game series. I'm basically going to rank every single installment in that said franchise, and from like worst to best. So today, for the very first episode, well, we're gonna be talking basically a studio that's made a lot of films for the past 20, I want to say like 23 years now, and that is of course Pixar Studios. Pixar Studios is to me the greatest animated studio of all time. Their movies are just absolutely fantastic. They make gold with almost every movie to me. With almost a lot of their movies, they make gold because they're just fantastic. They know what they're doing with their animated movies. They know how to pick the right directors and stuff. They just know how to make some darn good animated movies. And I figured since Cars 3 was coming out in basically, about like 2 weeks now, I think this was honestly the perfect time to do this episode of Ranked, and I'm very honored to have Pixar be the very first episode of Ranked. So, what we're going to be doing is that Pixar has made a total of 17 movies as of making this video, so we're going to rank all 17 of those movies from worst to best. So we're going to start from 17 and work our way up to number 1. So, let's do this. So, here we go. And here we go. Now here we go. So, coming in at last place at number 17 is Cars 2. Now, to me, Cars 2 is really the only bad movie that Pixar has made. The only, legitimate bad movie that Pixar has made. Cars 2, I just felt like was just a lazy sequel to the original Cars. And the original Cars, I actually quite enjoy a lot. I think that's actually a great movie. I'll talk more about that movie when we get on later on with that movie. But Cars 2, I just felt like they didn't know what they really were doing, with the movie. They just kind of like, oh, let's kind of make Mater the main character. Now, I don't mind Mater. I actually quite enjoy him a bit in the Cars movies, but making him the main character in the second movie was honestly a gigantic mistake because he fit more as a supporting role, and making him the main character of the movie was honestly a gigantic mistake to me, and honestly ruined a lot of the movie for me. And just the whole spy storyline with the film was honestly really stupid, and it just didn't fit with the film. I mean, I get it. They didn't want to make another, race type of a movie, racing movie. I get it because, you don't want to repeat the same formula again, but I get it. But at the same time, it just really, the spy element of the movie just did not work for me at all. I felt like a lot of the voice actors felt like they were just phoning it in. And just overall, I thought the movie was a mess, and it could have been a lot better, especially for a sequel to a movie that I actually quite enjoy a lot. So, just Cars 2, I felt like just fell flat on its face, and it just wasn't that great of a movie. It's by far the weakest movie that Pixar has ever done. So, Cars 2 comes in at number 17. So, next up on the ranking at number 16 is The Good Dinosaur. Now, surprisingly enough, I actually had never done a review for The Good Dinosaur. I never got a chance to review the movie, so I guess you could say this is also somewhat my review for the movie as well. The Good Dinosaur, although it's not a bad movie, it definitely could have been a lot better than it was. I mean, I just felt like what really held this movie back to me was honestly the story. It was very boring to me. It really wasn't all that interesting. And it just was for the majority of it, for me, was really boring. The animation was really great, and I did think both of the characters, the dinosaur and the kid, I forgot both of their names, but I thought they were enjoyable, and I thought the characters had good chemistry with each other, but, I just didn't think the movie itself really worked, and it just was kind of just a decent at best film. It was really honestly it was really the storyline that held it back for me. It was really boring. It wasn't that interesting to me. It just wasn't really that great. Like I said, it's not a bad movie by any means, but at the same time, I don't really think it was that good. It was definitely a disappointment. And honestly, I think I kind of had this feeling about the movie because really none of the trailers, except for like the teaser trailer, they weren't really all that good, and they didn't really hit me emotionally. And I didn't really think the movie was that emotional either, honestly. Like, there were some good emotional moments, but for the majority, I just didn't really think the movie was all that emotional either. So yeah, The Good Dinosaur overall, I just didn't think it wasn't a bad movie per se, but it's definitely one of the weaker Pixar movies. And considering that Pixar is a great studio, they definitely could have made something better than this, honestly. So yeah, and plus, studio's not gonna have every single movie's not gonna be a hit from the studio. So definitely, and this definitely wasn't one of them. So The Good Dinosaur, although not a bad movie, it was decent at best, and comes in at number 16. Coming in at number 15 is Brave. Brave, I actually quite like the movie. Is it a best animated award winner, best animated film award winner? No, but apparently the Oscars think it's better than Wreck-It Ralph. But still, I enjoy Brave. I still think it's a good movie. I still quite enjoy it a bit. It is a good movie in my opinion. I did really like the main character, Merida. I do think she is one of the best Pixar characters, honestly, out there. She is really great. And I do quite enjoy her a lot. And the movie itself was just an enjoyable movie. I had tons of fun with it. Sure, I do think the twist wasn't all that great, and where it went, I did feel like it was like, really? But I did think it was still a solid movie overall. I do quite enjoy Brave a bit. It is a good movie. I do like the movie. It is good. I have watched it a couple times. It is a solid movie overall. I do enjoy Brave. So, Brave comes in at number 15 for me. Number 14. Finding Dory. This is the studio's latest release as of making this video, and Finding Dory. I personally, I thought this was a great sequel. I definitely did think the studio did do a great job with this sequel. It was honestly a pretty great sequel to the original Finding Nemo. I did quite enjoy this movie a lot, and honestly, the only little worry I had going into this movie is that they were making Dory the main character. She was great as a supporting character, really playing off of, Marvin and stuff, so I was quite nervous about it. And honestly, I did think she did work as a main character, really. I did think she did do a great job at having her own movie about, trying to find her parents and everything. It actually worked for me. It was quite great. And also, I loved the dolphins. They were fantastic. Hank, the octopus, he was great. So, just a lot of great elements were added to this movie that, that were great about the original, that they added even more to this. I just thought overall it was a great sequel, and they definitely did do a great job with this movie, and I did quite enjoy it a lot. So yeah, Finding Dory, I definitely think was a great sequel, and yeah, definitely enjoyed it a lot. So yeah, Finding Dory, great sequel, had great animation to it. The voice acting was still great. Albert Brooks as Marvin, loved him. Ellen DeGeneres as, Dory was fantastic as well. So yeah, Finding Dory, overall, great sequel. Number 13. Cars. Cars. Now, the original Cars. I love this movie a lot. I think I love it, honestly, a lot more than most people do. Most people look at it as one of the weaker Pixar movies, and that's fine. But, I quite love the movie. I actually thought it, had, Lightning McQueen at first, you meet him, he's kind of a cocky, I'm the best, I'm gonna win everything, and then once, he goes into this town of Radiator Springs, he starts, becoming kind of humanizing, even though he's a car, he starts, being like much more of a much nicer person, and, I really like that a lot, and seeing his evolution from that in this movie was actually quite great, and I quite enjoyed that a lot. And honestly, this movie had an arrangement of a lot of great characters. Like, I really enjoyed a lot of the characters in this movie. The animation was great. And also the finale, the race car finale was actually quite enjoyable too. Definitely one of the best finales to a Pixar movie to me. I love that finale a lot. So yeah, Cars, I honestly thought was a great movie. I quite enjoyed Cars a lot. I definitely do think it gets a lot of flack that it really doesn't deserve. So yeah, Cars overall, great movie. So that's what comes at number 13. Coming in at number 12 is Monsters University. Monsters University was a prequel, of course, to the original Monsters, Inc. This tells the story of, Sully and Mike when they were in college together and how they basically meet. And, some people thought it was a kind of an unnecessary prequel. We didn't really need to know how Mike and Sully became best friends and everything. I actually thought it was quite an interesting tale to see how these guys, who really at first, didn't like each other, but now have become best friends, as we see in, Monsters Inc. and stuff. It's actually quite interesting, and this movie had some great characters. Like, I loved a lot of the characters in this movie. Like, so many fantastic characters. I enjoyed them. I forgot who the purple guy was, but he was by far the best new character out of any of them in this movie. Yeah, the movie was also hysterical, too. I thought the movie was really, really funny as well. I quite enjoy Monsters University a lot. And this is another one that really gets too much flack and really, deserves a lot more attention, honestly. It's a really great movie. And it was definitely by far the best animated film of 2013. You heard me right. And this should have been nominated for Best Animated Film. It really should have been. And it's a darn shame that it wasn't, because it's such a fantastic movie. So, yeah, Monsters University comes in at number 12. Number 11. WALL-E. WALL-E. I know some people are going to think this is kind of way too low, but like I said, this is my ranking. This is, what I think. These are my favorite Pixar movies, and I'm ranking them, of course. So, yeah, but WALL-E, I do think is a great movie. Sure, kind of the beginning is a little bit slow, and that's really my biggest issue with the movie. But besides that, really, the movie is just great. And especially with two characters that don't even really talk, per se, is fantastic. Like, seriously, WALL-E is definitely one of the best characters Pixar has ever done. Like, seriously, he's just a cute robot. He really is. And just the way that they use the sci-fi genre in this movie is quite spectacular to me. I love this movie. It's so incredible, and it's just so fantastic. It's such a great sci-fi animated movie. It really is. Just the range from the characters to the atmosphere of space. It's just so fantastic. I absolutely love WALL-E. It's such an incredible movie. It definitely, like, some people call it like one of the best sci-fi movies ever. I can definitely see why someone would think that, because my goodness, is this movie great. It's definitely one of the most unique movies Pixar has ever made. It is great. It really is. So yeah, WALL-E comes in at number 11. Now we're getting into the top 10, and coming in at number 10 is A Bug's Life. Now, some people might think I'm crazy of putting it over WALL-E, but Bug's Life has been with me for a lot of my life. Like, seriously, like, this and some others I'll get into a little bit later on were really a big part of my life. And, just, man, do I love A Bug's Life. A Bug's Life is just such a great movie. It really is. Like, A Bug's Life is really, to me, Pixar's most underappreciated movie. Like, seriously, I feel like this movie does not get enough attention. Like, this movie is so great. Like, for the range of characters, like, Flynn, played by Dave Foley, he does an absolutely great job. Like, he really does. He was great. Or Kevin Spacey as Hopper, definitely one of Pixar's best villains. Kevin Spacey just does an amazing job. And just from the range of characters to the humor in this movie, which is absolutely hilarious if you ask me. Just everything about this movie is fantastic. I feel like it doesn't get enough attention. Sure, this was I kind of get it, because, this was the follow-up to Toy Story. Like, how are you going to follow up Toy Story? And a lot of people also quite disappointed about this, and plus Ants also came out the same year as this, and I know a lot of people love that movie as well. So I feel like maybe nowadays, maybe this movie should get a lot more appreciation and a lot more love, because it's really great, and I feel like it doesn't sometimes. It's a really great movie from Pixar, and I definitely do think it should get a lot more attention, because it's so fantastic, it's so funny, and just has such a great arrangement of characters, and the animation is fantastic with it. So, yeah, A Bug's Life comes in at number 10. Number 9, Ratatouille. A movie about a rat that cooks. Only Pixar could make this work. Ratatouille really is a phenomenal movie. The fact that they made a movie about a stinking rat cooking work is incredible along with itself. Like, it really is. And just, it's so fantastic. Like, it's like, showing that, like, a rat that has a passion for cooking. Like, it's so great. And his chemistry with Linguini, like, his chemistry with him is so great. Like, it's one of the best duos Pixar has ever done. Like, seriously, his chemistry with him is so incredible. The humor is absolutely hilarious. I do think this movie is really, really funny. Patton Oswalt does an absolutely great job as, Lemmy, I believe his name was. I think that's what the rat's name was. He was enjoyable, he was great. He just does such a fantastic job. I think it's the best role he's ever done, to be honest. He was just really fantastic. And just everything about this movie worked to me. And Brad Bird did an absolutely great job directing this movie. And he just did such a phenomenal job. He really made this movie work. It's just such a phenomenal movie about a rat cooking. Just think about that for a moment. It's about a rat cooking, and they made it work. It's so, so fantastic. I love Ratatouille. Such an incredible movie. And speaking of Brad Bird, coming in at number 8 is The Incredibles. Throw down the pitchforks, okay, listen. This list was tough to make, folks. This ranking was tough, okay? So there were some that had to be lower, that had to be, lower than others, okay? Okay, just stick with me, alright? The Incredibles is a fantastic movie. I remember seeing this movie back when it first came out in theaters. I actually do. And, just witnessing that on the big screen was incredible. It really was, no pun intended, but it was incredible. Like, seriously, seeing this on the big screen, and, this is still, the best, family superhero movie ever. I don't think you're never gonna find a better family of superheroes in your entire life than The Incredibles. Really, it's so, so great. It's such a great superhero movie, and the animation is really fantastic to it. And I just love the fact that it's about, superheroes that are retired, and then they have to come back into, crime fighting because of the supervillain and stuff. It's just so great. And of course, where is my super suit? Just everything about this movie worked to me, and it's definitely one of Pixar's best films they've ever done. And the fact that we're finally getting a sequel to this is so great. I'm so glad we're finally getting a sequel to this. I cannot wait to see what they do with the sequel to The Incredibles. So yeah. The Incredibles is such a phenomenal movie. It's definitely one of the best superhero films, and it's definitely one of the best animated movies, I think, ever, honestly. It's such a great movie, and Brad Bird, phenomenal job. So fantastic. He's just a man that knows how to direct movies, and he did such a fantastic job with The Incredibles. So yeah, that's what comes at number 8, The Incredibles. Number 7, Monsters, Inc. Monsters, Inc., another movie that was very big on my childhood, and a movie that I religiously watched. Monsters, Inc., the reason I have it higher than some of these other movies is because what I loved so much about this movie is just kind of the range and emotion that this movie had with its characters and everything. They made you had sympathy for monsters. Think about that for a moment. They made you had sympathy for monsters, things that are supposed to scare you. And, this relationship that Sully has with this little girl named Boo is honestly one of the best things I think I've ever seen in an animated movie. Just the emotion with that, and just by the end of the movie, not trying to go into spoilers or anything, but what happens at the end of the film, you're just you just get so emotional about it, and it warms your heart. It's just such a great movie, and plus the humor is fantastic. Billy Crystal does an incredible job as Mike. He's one of the best characters Pixar has ever done. He's just incredible. And so is John Goodman as Sully. These two were perfect. They were perfect for these roles. They were just a match made in heaven. And, these two are just so great. Definitely one of the best duos Pixar has ever done. They're just so incredible with each other. Just everything about this movie is just really great. From the animation as well. The animation is quite enjoyable. It's quite great to look at as well. Like, just the way they get the world of Monsters Inc. is quite fantastic to me. So, yeah, Monsters Inc. definitely is a fantastic movie and comes in at number 7. Number 6, Inside Out. One of the most, I think this is one of the smartest movies Pixar has ever done. Like, just, when I first heard about the concept of this movie, about, emotions being in your head, and, like, like, emotions controlling you and whatever, like, emotions being in your head and stuff, and really getting the head of an 11-year-old girl, I believe, like, 11, 12, I believe. So, and just really seeing how emotions work and everything was actually quite great and quite emotional. Like, it's definitely, it's such a great movie. It was my number 2. I put this over Star Wars. Think about that for a moment. I put this over Star Wars on my best list of 2015. Like, this movie will have you in an emotional ball while watching it. Like, it really will, and this has some of the best arrangement of characters like that Pixar has ever done, like joy, disgust, sadness, anger, fear. Like those characters are so great, like they really are, and of course Bing Bong. But Bing Bong, yeah, not a great character. It's just so fantastic, this movie. It really is. The animation, and of course, the animation is fantastic, like a lot with Pixar's movies. And it's definitely one of the most emotional movies Pixar has ever done. And it's definitely one of the smartest as well. So, yeah, Inside Out, what a movie. Number 5. So, coming in at number 5 is another emotional wreck of a movie. Up! Up is a movie I saw back in 2009. I remember this clearly. I saw it back in 2009. It was my birthday, and this is like it was either on my birthday or like during the birthday week or whatever. And I saw this movie in theaters. This is what I wanted to do for my birthday, was see this movie in theaters because I thought it looked great. And you know something? This was more than great. This was phenomenal. Like, this movie, within the first like 10 minutes of the movie, will have you in an emotional wreck. And I know some people have said, like, oh, the movie moves slow after that. No, I don't think so, because after that, you go on this incredible journey with this old man and this boy and this dog, and it's so incredible. Like, it's such a fantastic journey. Like, just witnessing this journey with these characters is so great. Like, I love it. Like, it was such a fantastic, like, adventure movie. Like, seeing this journey with these characters was so great. It's just such a kind of an emotional, heartwarming movie, and it actually has a really good message to it as well. It really does. It's such a phenomenal film, and it was by far my best movie of 2009, I believe. Yeah, 2009, this is when this came out, and like, it was so emotional and so fantastic. Honestly, I think this should have won Best Picture at the Oscars, because man, was it just that great. Because Up is definitely one of the best movies Pixar has ever done, and it's honestly one of the best animated films just ever made. So incredible. Up, man, what a movie. Number 4, Finding Nemo. Finding Nemo, man. Finding Nemo. Finding Nemo is, is so great. Like, I've watched this movie so many times. It's crazy how many times I have watched this movie. Like I was talking about, Pixar knows how to play with your emotions, dang it. And this is another one of those examples. Like, you just feel bad for Marvin, because his son is gone. He's lost his son, you know what I mean? Like, you feel so bad for him that, like, you want him to try and find his son. And then, of course, you have Dory, who really adds a lot to this movie as well on the humor side of it. And just their camaraderie with each other is fantastic. And it's just such an emotional movie as well. And it's just so great. Like, the comedy is great. The emotion is fantastic. It's just such a fantastic movie. It has some of the best arrangement of characters that Pixar has ever done. The animation is so beautiful. Like, the way that they get just the underwater, just how they get the sea and everything is so great. Like, I love it. It's so so fantastic. I absolutely love how they just, imagine like the underwater and the sea and everything, and just how they make that look in that movie is just so fantastic. Finding Nemo definitely is one of the best movies Pixar has ever done, and it's so fantastic. I absolutely love Finding Nemo. Such an incredible movie. Now the top three should be no surprise to anybody. If you know me, this top three should be no surprise to anybody. But how do I rank this top three? Well, let's find out, shall we? So coming in at number 3 is Toy Story 2. Man, what a sequel. What a sequel Toy Story 2 was. Because at first we didn't even know we were going to get a Toy Story 2 because, just the studio had so much trouble of, trying to get this sequel done. And, this originally was actually supposed to be just a straight-to-DVD sequel. Yeah, it was originally supposed to be a straight-to-DVD sequel, but luckily, Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, all the rest of the guys, they came back to do this sequel. And man, am I so glad they came back to do the sequel, because man, is Toy Story 2 such a fantastic sequel. I absolutely love Toy Story 2. It's so great. It really is. It's such a phenomenal movie. It is. It's such a fantastic predecessor to its original. It really is. I love Toy Story 2. It's such a great sequel. From the animation to the characters. And, this movie really is focusing on Woody a lot, because Woody meets up with people like Jessie, Bullseye, Stinky Pete, and when we get introduced to those characters are great additions to the Toy Story universe. I absolutely love those characters a lot. I love a lot of the characters in the Toy Story universe. Who am I kidding? And, they just do such a fantastic job with that. And the finale, all the finales to the Toy Story movies are so exciting, and this is one of them. Man, the finale to this movie is so exciting. I love Toy Story 2. It's a phenomenal sequel. It really is. So yeah, Toy Story 2 comes in at number 3. So coming in at number 2 is Toy Story 3. Man, what a closing chapter to this amazing trilogy. Seriously, Toy Story 3 closes out this trilogy so fantastically. I love Toy Story 3. It's such an incredible movie, and I think out of any Pixar movie, I think this is the one that's gotten me the most emotional, because what happens at the end of this movie, of course I don't want to spoil it and whatever, but who am I kidding? Who hasn't seen Toy Story 3 but just in case, what happens at the ending and stuff. Apologies for that. I have never had that happen before. It just stopped out of nowhere. So, like I was trying to say about Toy Story 3, Toy Story 3 is just so great. I believe I was talking about the I was talking about the ending. Just how this movie ends is so emotional to me, and it's just so great. It really is, and it just will have you in an emotional wreck. I was bawling like a baby, because it's so great, and how it wraps up this story with these characters and everything is so great. And these are characters that have meant a lot to me in my life, because I grew up with these characters so much, and seeing how this movie ends and how this movie wraps up the entire trilogy is so phenomenal. And the rest of the movie is great too. It really is. The animation is fantastic. All the voice actors do a fantastic job in this movie. Just Toy Story 3 as a whole, I think it might be, it is the best third installment to any franchise I have ever seen. It is such a fantastic movie. I love Toy Story 3 so much. So yeah, Toy Story 3 is my number 2. And my number, Toy Story, okay? It's the only one that's left, and you knew it was going to be number 1, alright? Yeah, you knew, you saw the title, and you were like, I already know what the number 1's going to be, because what else do I have to say about Toy Story that I haven't said many times before, not only on this channel, but in my life in general? It's a masterpiece, okay? It is a fantastic movie. It's just the perfect animated movie. It's the perfect movie in general, to be honest with you. It is. Not only is this the best Pixar movie, it's the best animated film ever made, and it's just one of the best movies ever made just in general. It's in my top 10. And there's a reason why it is my favorite movie of all time. Literally from the characters, to the humor, to the animation, to the writing, to the directing, to heck, even the pacing. Everything is just perfect with this movie. Everything. This is literally the perfect movie. Woody and Buzz are the greatest animated characters of all time. They are. There's just no question about it. They are the greatest animated characters of all time. And I think they're the best duo in film history. The camaraderie between these two are so fantastic, and especially in this first movie. Like, seriously. And Buzz is my all-time favorite character. I love Buzz a lot. He is by far my favorite character of all time. Just how stupid he was, and he just didn't realize that he wasn't an astronaut, that he was, a toy and everything. Like, just seeing that and how it elevates in the movie is so fantastic. And the finale chase to this movie is my all-time favorite finale to any movie. Like, I love how this movie does with the finale chase and everything. It's so incredible. I love Toy Story so much. It is a movie that means so much to me. It's so incredible. I love Toy Story. It's definitely, without question, to me, Pixar's best movie. It really is. So yeah, Toy Story, without question, is Pixar's best. Love the movie to death. Now, I have no idea how long this video has went for. I'll probably find out once I, edit it and stuff. But man, hopefully if it's that long, you stuck around for the whole thing. Because, man, this was a lot of fun to do. This was a fun time ranking all 17 of Pixar's movies. So yeah, Pixar, this was great. I loved it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the first episode of Ranked. I certainly had a lot of fun doing it, and definitely there will be more episodes in the future. So if you can do it, could you rank all 17 of Pixar's movies? If you can, leave in the comments section below. And I'm FilmFan0599, and we will see you all later. Peace.